Our team runs more than 50 YouTube channels. We post about 250 to 300 times a month, and I personally touch almost none of the actual work. In today's video, I'm going to walk you exactly through how I hired myself out of it step by step. So if you run a YouTube channel for your business or you want to, this is going to be the video that I wish someone made me watch 3 years ago because it's going to save you a lot of time and energy. But to understand why this framework that I'm going to teach you works so well, we need to first understand what most business owners are doing incorrectly. You might be doing the strategy, the filming, the editing, the thumbnail design, and that means that you have multiple jobs within the YouTube channel, and most videos actually depend on you. And here's what usually happens next. You try to hand something off by hiring a VA online. It gets messy, you take it all back, and then you end up just doing everything yourself because it's easier that way. The fix is a simple framework for taking work off your plate in a way that works when it comes to YouTube teams. I call it the Offload Framework, and it's gonna have 5 steps that I'm gonna walk you through right now. Step 1 is to first find what you're gonna offload. Now, most people, when they talk about delegation, they say to hire out what you hate and hire out what you're bad at, but that's only half of the picture. Instead, I would look at it as a 4-part quadrant. So on the x-axis, you can have, are you good at it or are you bad at it? And on the y-axis, you can have, do you love it or do you hate it? So to give you an example, right, I used to edit a lot of YouTube videos. And at some point, I got really good at it because of all the volume that I had, but I just really hated it. So when I finally handed off editing for the channels, sure, I got my time back, but the biggest thing that I got back was actually my energy. And I had energy for the work that actually grows the business, which is usually not just editing the videos. So similarly for you, you can look at the things that you are very good at, but hate to do. Now you might be tempted to keep it because you might be thinking that nobody else can do it as good as you. And it's just easier for you to keep on doing it because you're good at it. For me, I thought this way for a long time. I thought that nobody else could edit videos as good as me. I knew that I just had to hand it off anyway to start the process, right? That's the key here, is to start the process of learning how to delegate and how to hand things off, which is a whole nother topic in and of itself. The flip side is doing something that you are very bad at, but you love to do. Maybe you keep that one for now because maybe you'll see a lot of growth in this area and you can keep on learning. But if it's not too important and you want to grow faster, the obvious answer here is to find somebody who can do it better for you so that you can spend your time doing more important things that only you can do. For example, if you love to edit, but you are not the best editor out there, this could be something that you consider hiring out to someone who not only loves to edit, but also is really good at it. Okay, moving on to step number 2, and that is to package your tasks as a position. So the mistake that we made in the beginning was we just hired people and just put them into a pile of a bunch of odd jobs. So we would hire like a VA, right? And we would hand them just a bunch of random tasks for them to do. So like edit this, post this, fix this, etc. And it never really worked because they could never focus on one thing at a time. And by one thing, I mean department, because I would say that most of the time they would be jumping from department to department. So maybe one day they would be working in the video department and fixing a video edit. And then another day they might be fixing something in the website department. And it just didn't work out as well as we'd hoped because these people were overseas. And so it was really hard to train them from scratch to work on every single department in the business. I want to say things completely changed for us when we stopped hiring task doers and started hiring actual positions. And more specifically, a project manager, which is actually the first hire that most channels could benefit from. So if you're running a channel without one, you're doing your business, your channel, and yourself a disservice by not having one. A good PM is the hire that's going to let everything else get delegated, but I'm not going to talk about that too much today because we actually have previous videos on this channel that you can watch that goes over our entire system for project managers, or PMs as we like to call it. So 2 things changed once we found a good project manager. One is the person knew exactly what to own. They had a real department to own, which was YouTube, and they had clear outcomes and clear KPIs. 2, we knew what we were looking for when we were hiring for a project manager because we were looking for prior experience in this department instead of just hoping that a generalist can go into the company and kind of figure it all out from scratch. So we learned that if we put somebody on 20 random tasks in the business, they're never going to get good at any of those tasks, and then eventually we become the bottleneck again. But if you get one person for one department and they specialize, they can get way better at that task than you ever can. They can eventually take the whole thing off of your plate. This is so good for business owners who want to work on the business instead of working in the business, because I would say a good PM will work in the business while you can zoom out, you can look at the systems from a different perspective, and you can actually lead the company as the business owner, as the CEO, instead of just as someone who's just getting things done in the business. And as someone who manages PMs for a living, I love how my work revolves around the quality of decisions that I make rather than the work that I'm doing in the business. business. So for you, right, think about your tasks and whether they would fit into one position, which chances are for YouTube, it would be a project manager that you can most benefit from. So again, you can watch our previous videos on the channel that will teach you exactly how to find a good project manager and how to hire them step by step. And you can also book a call with us for free using the link down below. We'll be able to give you guys the strategy that you need. It's 100% customized to your business and your offer or your service. And at the end, we can see if it makes sense for us to work together. Okay, moving on to step number 3, and that is putting a dollar amount on each position. So this is where we start to think, how much would it cost to pay somebody else to do this for us? And here are the real ranges that we recommend for you and your YouTube channel. A video editor can run anywhere between $40 to $400 per project. And this obviously depends on the quality that you want and your budget. Someone for $40 will be able to do a super basic edit, which is sometimes all you need. And it can even be cheaper than this, depending on how basic you're getting. And then on the higher end, this is going to consist of more effort put per minute in your video to create the best video possible. Next is a thumbnail designer. This is anywhere between $5 to $30 per project. And this means that they give you 3 thumbnail variations and even collaboration with your team towards the higher end of the project budget. And then a project manager, this would be anywhere between $500 to even $3,000 per month. Someone for $500 per month will obviously need a ton of training, but they're going to be very affordable for most business owners who want to build systems from scratch. Meanwhile, someone for $1,000 to $2,000 per month should come with a lot of experience, and they'll be able to come in and build new systems and suggest new workflows that can help improve the content systems over time. But the biggest thing across all budgets is going to be your company culture, which means your core values, how well your candidates fit into those core values, and whether or not they are a good fit long-term. So for you, you can write down the number next to each position that you would want to hire out for. So depending on you and your budget and how many videos that you want to do per month, this is going to be able to give you a real idea of how much it would cost per month to run your channel. Now, again, I'm not going to get too much into the hiring aspect of things because we have other videos on this channel that can teach you about that. But if you're wondering why these prices are so low, it's because we are primarily hiring overseas instead of the States, which would normally cost 2 to 3 times these prices. So once you have a price on all the positions, then you're going to want to do one last thing before you actually start hiring. And that is you got to get all of your processes and workflows out of your head and documented. So step 4 is to document it the easy way. This is where most people misunderstand the process of documenting. They think they have to sit down and spend an entire day writing a giant manual. And this is what I actually do. I record what's called a Loom, which is a software that you can download and use to record videos of your screen with your voice. And it makes it super easy to share with your team members. So what I'll do is I'll just talk through how I want the thing done on the screen and out loud. Then over time, the person that I'm handing it to turns my initial instructions and feedback that I give them into a written SOP as they try to take over. These written SOPs also have the Loom videos built right in. So the instructions have a visual layer and an audio layer, not just text on the page. Because not everybody learns by reading, right? For me, I learn from watching somebody walk me through something and talk me through their thought process. And so 2 things happen here. One is the documentation builds itself as you give your feedback to the team as you normally would. And 2, the person who's actually going to build out the instructions, right, the SOPs, they're going to build it out on their own to where they can understand it the best. So it's just you giving them feedback, which is what you would already normally do. And then it's them turning it into a template or a workflow that works best for them to get the mission accomplished. And then step 5 is to begin hiring and to do it fast. And look, you don't need to get the entire team by day 1. You can look at what you can actually afford per month and then hire whoever is going to be the highest leverage person for your business. For most people, that's going to be a project manager or the first editor. Then it just becomes a game of how quick that you can move and also how much volume that you can accumulate. Recruiting and hiring is an ongoing thing in almost every single business. And so it becomes about how many candidates that you can get into your company at one time and also how fast you can sort through those candidates. Because for us, we've had really good PMs and editors come through after 2 months of posting and also 2 years after posting. You really never know when you're going to find your next best hire. And I love this quote. I forgot who said it, but it goes, "You're only one hire away from changing your business completely." And if you think about it, every month that you spend doing the work yourself is another month that your channel does not grow as fast as it can. And another month that you don't get your energy back to be spending on things that only you can do. And so the speed that you can hire at is the speed that you will grow at. So that's the Offload Framework. This is exactly how we're able to run 50+ channels without me having to be super in the weeds on every single channel. And so if we can do it, then you can literally just copy copy us for your business and it should be able to work for your one channel or your two channels. So again, if you want a custom version of this for your own business, so a real plan of what to offload first and who to hire depending on where you're at, that's exactly what we do for every single company that we work with. You can apply with the link down below or go to longformlaunch.com. It only takes 2 minutes. And again, we can hop on a call for free to talk about strategy. And at the very least, you're going to have some ideas to work with on your business, even if we don't end up working together. One last thing, if there's any part of this video that you would want me to dive deeper into, whether it's the project manager side of things, the documentation side of things, whatever it is, please drop it in the comments. Trust me, I read every single comment. And at the end of the day, I'm just trying to give value to business owners out there who can absolutely crush it on YouTube if only they knew how to crush it on YouTube. So that's it. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.